Yes, well, maybe that's one of the reasons why so many New Zealanders are looking across the Tasman in particular at the moment and deciding they want out of here. They're looking at the direction of the country, both culturally and economically. They're looking at their own finances. They're looking at the cost of living. They're looking at the educational opportunities for their children. They're looking at the health systems of this country. And they are comparing us unfavourably with elsewhere. Last week, a survey, international survey came up showing that New Zealand rated poorly with expats. What I mean by that is that if you were thinking about leaving your country to go somewhere else, we weren't on that list. In fact, we weren't not only on the top of that list, as Australia was, but we were right near the bottom. There's something wrong now, apparently. Our country is too expensive, and what else? That now acts as a powerful disincentive for folk to be coming to live here. And as I said over the weekend, I manage a football team chock full of expats from all over the globe. The conversation at the pub on Saturday night was very much about the opportunities across the ditch. Joining us to talk about this, because he's been a commentator on this for quite some time now, and who is an expat himself, is from Hawke's Bay, my old stamping ground, is Chad Kukahiko, creative director there, an expat, very much part of the expat community, and somebody who has, if you like, because of his IT background, in a very good place to be able to determine whether our quality of life is there or not. Good morning to you, Chad.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How long have you been in Hawke's Bay?
6 months.
6 months?
I've been here for just over 2 years. No, 2 years, about 2.5 years.
Okay. You've chosen a particularly pretty part of the country. Are you living in Napier, are you, of the Hawke's Bay?
I'm actually in Flaxmere, in Hastings.
Wow, you've actually chosen the lowest socioeconomic suburb in Hawke's Bay to go to, but you like it,
Yeah.
do you?
I do. I'm actually half Hawaiian, so I feel, very at home amongst Maori, and yeah, it's great here. Plus, also my work is a 6-minute bike ride away, so that was the main cause, to be honest.
All right. Well, okay, good. That you're not living on the Napier Hill or in Havelock North. You're living in somewhere which is a bit more basic than that. So you think the quality of life in New Zealand
Absolutely.
stacks up in comparison with what? Australia, Canada, the United States, UK?
I think it's great. Also, we look, just to be honest, at that particular study, a bunch of the other expats, and I help run a Facebook group for American expats, and American expats are obviously in a very specific situation right now. So I cannot believe that study is in any way true for American expats. I mean, since the Roe v. Wade ruling, for a variety of reasons I'm having more applicants from the U.S. right now trying to join our Facebook group than we've ever had. So we looked at that study. 6 of the top 10 are non-democracies or troubled democracies. So it's just, I'll be honest, I just don't hold a lot of trust in that poll. We were 6th year. New Zealand was 6th last year, and now they're second to last out of only 52, which is another issue. Why are there only 52 countries on this on this list?
I have to be honest with you though. American expats living in New Zealand, you tend to be a certain political colour, don't you? So you're sort of green and left. There's not a lot of sort of centre-right people. They might go and buy a holiday bolt hole in Queenstown. But as a general rule, people who think of leaving America because Roe v. Wade, that wouldn't be normal, would they?
Yep. Well, the people who are looking to come over now, that's accurate. But when you listen to the way that we talk in the Facebook group, it's all over the spectrum. When I first told the members of the group that I was going to be talking about this last week, it got very, listen, my opinion is not, I'll just say it's not the overwhelming opinion of the people in the group. People in the group have been here, many of them have been here for years and years. So I wouldn't say that my opinion is not, by the way, I was talking about the methodology of the survey. Methodology of the survey is quite flawed, and it's very difficult to look at it any other way when you drill down into the details of that. But I'm just telling you my opinion. I love it here, but I'm not going to say that all the people in the group, but by no stretch of the imagination is that the case. Some of them are, quite unhappy here, and I wonder why they stay when they could go back to the U.S. But there you are.
What are the things that it's difficult to leave any country. You've picked up your whole life. You've transported yourself and your future to that country.
Mm-hmm.
What are the things that American expats find most difficult here?
I think making friends is I think so many people assume that because we speak English that the culture is so similar. There are so many differences in the culture, and I love it here, and I do have as a Hawaiian, I have a little bit more of a connection to the native people, so maybe that makes it a little bit easier for me to make friends here, but the culture is different in so many ways that people don't anticipate until they're here. I'll give you an example. The holidays are such a big deal. Christmas in the United States, and the fact that it's in cold weather in the Northern Hemisphere, it just makes it, there's a warm feeling. Everybody's super friendly. Everybody's helping each other out. People are going to Kmart and buying off the layaway. I don't know if that's a thing you guys have here, just basically paying for all the gifts and stuff that people have been trying to pay for all year. And you never ever see that sort of sentiment here. And I think that's one example of the ways that the culture is different. The way that we look at humility and arrogance is completely different in the United States than it is here. That's another example.
Do you think we're arrogant, New Zealanders?
No, the exact opposite. The tall poppy syndrome is very. That's one thing that a lot of American. Yeah, it's the exact opposite. In America, I would say that we don't look at things like, if you talk well of yourself and it's true, you actually can do it. That's not really considered by and large arrogance.
Yeah,
especially if you're not talking about it in a particular way. But over here, I'm a creative director in the advertising world. Everybody in my field has to have their own website. They have to go. A friend of mine saw it the other day, and they were commented on the arrogance of having this. This is literally just a tool you need in my career here. And every time I see people, like I'm shooting a commercial on Tuesday, that's tomorrow actually, and the director of photography was telling me about his website, and he was apologizing about it the whole time. I'm like, why are you apologizing? This is literally a tool you need to do your job. It's just something so that's one thing. For instance, I have a feeling that some people, when they meet me, think I'm arrogant and don't want to talk to me, but it's just purely a cultural difference, Do
you think that's an age thing, though, Chad? Do you think also that younger people are the same? Because with social media, a lot of people go on social media, whether it's TikTok or Telegram or Instagram or whatever, and they take photos of themselves and parade themselves publicly and are looking for a whole series of sort of electronic approval. Do you think that's more a sort of over 50 problem?
That's entirely possible, but I wouldn't say 50. It's definitely something I've experienced from people. But also, even just the way you talk about it, parading yourselves and whatnot. It's just not. It's not something. In America, you have to. I don't want to stray too far. I just want to. It's from the expat thing. But just briefly, in America, there's no social network. There's no social network whatsoever, basically. I mean, so you have to, it gets desperate, right? So you have to struggle, you have to fight, you have to constantly be trying to get up. So it's more a matter of survival in the United States. It's not, I don't think, as much a matter of needing to be the center of attention.
Cost of living. Does that scare the bejesus out of Americans here?
Lots of American expats are definitely, that's one of the main things that they do talk about. The difficulty of finding housing as well is one of the other main things as well. But the trade-off of not having to deal with guns and having You know, very inexpensive to free healthcare is and people have the ones who are happy here. That's what they talk about is they, cost of living, all that stuff. It's just part of what you get in exchange.
I'm glad you raised the culture issue though, because one of the things that seems, well, I would suggest to you that American expats might feel more comfortable in Australia, where there is more of that, shall we say, out there or public personality, if you like. Australians are not shy about extolling their personal or country virtues, shall we say. Is there a similarity, do you think, between Australians and Americans? More of one than the New Zealanders?
That's probably true in other ways as well. I mean, politically, it seems to be a bit more conservative in Australia. That's probably. I haven't lived in Australia. I've visited several times, and it just has a feel more like America. But there are people that love the nature out here, and I feel like that's part of the draw to a lot of the Americans that prefer here.
Yeah, understood. Okay. Well, nice to talk to you, Chad. No, the best of... Listen, you are in a fantastic place in the world, though. Hawke's Bay, I think their economy's been booming. I lived in Flaxmere. Can I just share that with you? I flatted in Dyers Drive. So...
that's where I live.
Really? In Dyers Drive? You're joking? Yeah?
I live right at the end of Dyers Drive, where Dyers hits Flaxmere, right at the end.
Yeah, well, yes, okay. No, I was a political candidate in the 1987 general election.
Oh.
Very, very, very young, too young actually. But it flatted in Flaxmere. But it was going through a transition then, basically because everybody had lost their jobs. So the difference between now and then is Flaxmere was mostly Maori. A few Pacific Islanders. Cook Island community was quite strong, as I recall. But they all had jobs in the freezing works. And then all those jobs evaporated. And really, many of them have never worked since.
Oh, man.
So,
all my neighbors are Islanders like us. And we're very, very much at home here. Yeah.
The lovely Cook Island community there, really is. Okay, thanks very much, Chad. Talking to you. Nice to talk to you, and the best of luck to you.